Jenny Brown. Welcome to this week's MFB news. I hope everybody is keeping incredibly well. I'm wearing headphones today. I'm actually recording this video at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm trying to be as quiet as I can because we have absolutely reached that point in the summer holidays where the later the children sleep in, the better. So I don't want to wake them up, so apologies, but that's why I'm wearing the headphones this week. So look, we've got lots of news. I actually thought it was going to be a really quiet news week. I think the week we're in currently and the previous week are generally regarded as the busiest week for people going on holiday during the summer period. So I wasn't really expecting a huge amount of news, but actually there has been lots of positive changes and some really, really good new rates released. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to touch on the residential market this week, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail down the line, but actually it's really worth tuning in for that as well. And then lastly, I'm just going to update you on what's going on with the property market. The signs are that the heat is really starting to come out of it now, and we're also going to go through some report that the Mortgage Works have released, the To Let Barometer, which really lets you know how landlords are feeling, what their plans are for the coming months. So lots of great stuff to cover off today. So first up this week, Pepper have released a new limited edition product, a 5-year fixed rate, which is available for limited companies and individuals. Now the rate, I think we would focus on this more in the context of limited company lending rather than individuals. Because the lending criteria is such that I don't know that it's anything special in the personal space, but in the limited company space, in terms of 5-year fixed rates, so look, this is at 3.13%, there's a 2% arrangement fee, and for remortgages you do get free legal work. Now I'm just looking at all the 5-year fixed rates available on the market, and actually at 75% loan to value, I would say this is probably like the 5th lowest interest rate you can get. So at 75% loan to value in the limited company space, the lowest 5-year fixed rate is currently 2.95. Now in terms of Pepper's criteria, it's relatively narrow compared to some of their competitors in this space. So they do need you to have a minimum income. For limited companies, it's £30,000 per year. For individuals, it's individual borrowing, it's 18,000. They also cap the number of buy-to-lets you can have in the background at 9. Now I appreciate that will still work for many landlords, but compared to some of their kind of natural competitors, slightly more cautious. Some good things: they do accept first-time landlords, they are accepting new build houses, and the rental calculation they're using on their 5-year fixed rate here is very, very good. So that for limited companies, they need the rent to be 125%, assuming the pay rate of 3.13. So actually, in terms of really, I guess, USPs for the products available, this one, I think the key point here is that it's a very competitive 5-year fixed rate, not the most competitive, but still very, very strong, and the rental calculation is incredibly good. Our friends at Accord Mortgages have been busy making some reductions across their buy-to-let rate portfolio, making reductions of up to 0.15%. The reduction varies depending on the product. So look, in terms of Accord and who they are a really good lender for personal borrowing. They will lend to first-time landlords, they accept let-to-buy applications, so that's where we're putting a buy-to-let mortgage on our current home and then buying a new main residence with a residential mortgage. They accept student lets, they will accept up to 4 students on a single tenancy agreement. The key thing here is single tenancy, you can't have multiple tenancy agreements. They do accept some flats over commercial. They're happy to accept ex-local authority flats and houses subject to valuers' comments. In terms of the borrowers they're looking for, they need you to have no more than 10 mortgaged properties in the background. You can have further unencumbered properties, but it's 10 mortgaged. They will allow you to borrow up to the age of 85. You can be no more than 75 at the point of application. And for experienced landlords, so those landlords with more than 6 months' worth of letting experience, they waive their minimum income requirement of £25,000. So for experienced landlords, there is no minimum income requirement. So actually, in the personal sort of more vanilla end of the market, it's a really, really solid offering. They've made some rate reductions, and I have to say the rates are looking incredibly good. Zephyr Home Loans have also been busy reducing both their 2 and 5 year fixed rates. by up to 0.15%, and this is for their standard properties and also their specialist HMO multi-unit freehold block products, up to 75% loan to value. So their pricing now starts from a very, very respectable 2.64%. So look, in terms of Zephyr, in terms of the applicants who they like to lend to, they're really very good for the landlords with more larger portfolios, so no maximum number of properties in the background. You can be up to the age of 89 at the point of application. The loan has to redeem by your 95th birthday. They don't have a minimum income requirement either. Like I said, they can lend up to 75% loan to value, and the minimum property value they're accepting at the moment is £75,000, although if you're looking at their HMOs and multi-unit freehold block ranges, it's £100,000. On that note, HMOs, maximum of 6 letting rooms, multi-units, maximum of 6 self-contained units. Other couple of things that I thought were quite nice in the lending policy: they can accept high-rise blocks of up to 10 stories. Anything over 3, there has to be a lift, and they can consider ex-local authority flats and houses. So, a pretty broad offering from Zephyr, and actually the rates that they've released are very, very strong. In terms of where they land in the market, I would say that on their, for example, 5-year fixed rate at 75% loan to value, they're now in the top 3. Paragon's turn now. Paragon have released a couple of limited edition 2-year fixed rates, which are available for both individuals and limited companies. Just to recap, when we say it's limited edition, what this means is that there's a limited amount of funds, so many millions, which can be lent on this particular rate, and when those funds have been used up, then there's no more to lend. So it's basically a set amount of money available to lend at a particular price. So there's 2 products available, very, very competitive. One is a lower rate with an arrangement fee, and the other is a higher interest rate, but there is no arrangement fee. If we look at these, actually, in the round, the cost to the borrower would be largely the same. It's just whether you want to benefit from the lower monthly payment but endure, the arrangement fee, or the vice versa. Don't mind taking a slightly higher monthly payment, but not paying arrangement fee. This is a very, very personal thing, right? There's no right answer here. It's down to personal preference. Some of our clients absolutely hate arrangement fees. They refuse to pay them. Other people, they just want the cheapest monthly payment. Both of these are fine. And thankfully, with their new offering, Paragon will be able to cater for those. So their 2-year fixed rates are now starting from a very, very competitive 2.75%. Paragon borrowers, Paragon are, I would say, to my mind, they've been around for such a long time, pre-credit crisis. I think they are such a great lender. They're able to lend on limited companies and individuals, as I mentioned. They do want you to have £25,000 a year worth of income. This can be from rent. They are very, very comfortable with those people with large portfolios. They don't mind if you're a first-time landlord or a landlord with 500 properties in the background. They're good with all of those things. Some other bits of lending criteria that I think are really worth noting, they're a bit kind of nichey. They're happy to lend to layered companies, so a company owned by a person. The key thing for them, and actually all the lenders who are able to accept this kind of structure, is it has to be the same people throughout the business. So the ultimate owner has to be also the directors of the companies going through the chain. Another thing that I really like with Paragon is that they're able to do remortgages within the first 6 months of ownership. Generally speaking, if you've seen a large uplift in value, they're going to want to understand how you've managed to achieve that. Largely, they'll be expecting you to have done some works to the property, but they're very good here as well. So lovely to see Paragon bring out a couple of really, really cracking 2-year fixed rates. A couple of other pricing changes this week, all continuing with the downward trend. So first of all, we have seen Lendinvest make reductions to their rates. So their pricing now starts from 2.85%. They have 5-year fixed rates from 3.04%. They have also got rates for small HMOs from 3.04% and new pricing on their larger HMO multi-unit freehold block range as well. Lendinvest are able to lend to limited companies and individuals. Again, another lender who is very, very comfortable with those landlords with larger portfolios. Another change we've seen this week is Virgin Money have made some small reductions on their rates. They've been classed as marginal rates, pricing now starting from 1.85%. Virgin, again, really solid lender. We really like them actually. They're very straightforward to deal with. They're one of those lenders who have a fairly narrow criteria, but you know where you stand. They either do it or they don't do it. If it works, brilliant. That means you can get some really good pricing. Up to 10 mortgage properties in the background. They do need you to have £25,000 a year income that's not from buy to let. But you know, if you fit those types of criteria, they're very good. The other thing about Virgin actually that I think people aren't necessarily aware of is they're a lender who, one of the very few lenders actually who in the sort of more vanilla end of the market are able to do remortgages within 6 months. That's really, really nice. Now, I also really wanted to just have a quick run through of the residential mortgage market. I know we don't really cover that off here because it isn't really that space, but I was looking at residential mortgage rates for myself actually. We're thinking about moving home or remortgaging, one of the two. And I had a look at the rates that were available, and I have to say I hadn't really been keeping such an eye on these, but I was absolutely gobsmacked at the pricing. So to give you a kind of idea, you can now get a residential remortgage 2-year fixed rate from 0.84%. The 5-year fixed rates are now starting from 0.96%, which is just incredible. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably have buy-to-lets already, or you're at least thinking about having a buy-to-let. But if you've already got a buy-to-let, and particularly if you're reliant on buy-to-let income as your main source of income, you may well have found that in recent times when you tried to apply for a mortgage you found it really difficult, and that's probably put you off. Looking at the list of rates available and looking at those lenders who we know are very, very good at lending to landlords and accepting landlord income, there are 5-year fixed rates starting from 1.13%, and there's a strong chance we could even improve on that. But you know, the pricing is so very, very good at the moment. So I really just wanted to share this with you because you know we're so focused on buy-to-let rates on this weekly update, but I think it's really important just to kind of flag this up because they're so blinking good at the moment. Incidentally, I should just really say that at Mortgages for Business we do residential mortgages. I do them for my clients. We've got other brokers in the office who specialise in homeowner mortgages. We believe that you can't be good at everything. So the way we tend to work at Mortgages for Business is we have brokers who specialise in each sector of the property mortgage market. So we have advisors who specialise in homeowner mortgages, those who specialise in buy-to-let, those who do commercial, those who do development finance. So we tend to section it all off just to make sure that when you speak to someone at our business, you're speaking to an expert in their field. So look, if you have got a home mortgage and you want to have a chat, we would love to hear from you. Honestly, this pricing is just incredible at the moment. Okay, and now it looks like the heat has really come out of the property market, largely owing to the phase 1 of stamp duty holiday coming to a close. So reading a report by a company called Get Agent, they are telling us that asking prices have fallen across 46% of the market. What they're telling us is that the figures show that after months on end of house price growth hitting record highs, asking price in England saw growth of just 0.1% between June and July, with the average asking price increasing by just £277, meaning that the average asking price in the UK is now sitting at £336,019. Now, what they went on to say is that the analysis shows that as many as 46% of areas saw the average asking price decline, and nowhere more so than in a place called Copeland, where it fell by 10.6% in a single month. In terms of what we're seeing, and I can talk about this actually from a very personal experience, the heat has very much gone out of the market, so the things have really slowed down. Is this going to be here to stay, or is this kind of just the fallout of the fact that a load of people made transactions, they front-ended those because of the stamp duty holiday? I think there's very much that in play here. We always knew that after the stamp duty holiday came to a close, things would go quiet for a bit, settle down, and then gradually start to recover. We're still very much not expecting things to fall off a cliff in terms of house prices. All the indicators that are happening are simply not there, but absolutely things are going to soften. I think there were people who were putting properties on the market during the stamp duty holiday, chancing their arm, and really capitalising on the almost panic, I think, that was existing in the market at that time. So asking a bit more from the property than maybe they could. I think the word expression we use is being a bit cheeky. And that's obviously now sort of come to a close. So naturally we are going to see things start to soften, but like I say, we're really not expecting things to fall off a cliff. Now finally this week, the Mortgage Works has released their To Let Barometer for Q2 2021, and I always really enjoy reading these. These are done, this is a survey of many landlords that the Mortgage Works commissions quarterly, and for me it's always really insightful reading, because this is actually landlords telling us what they think rather than people like me telling you what they think. So look, in terms of the people that responded to this survey, the typical landlord has 6.9 properties in their portfolio and generates an average rental yield of 5.8%. 60% of the landlords who responded have at least one buy-to-let mortgage. Some key data or takeaways that have come from this. So 14% of respondents plan to buy a property in the next 12 months. Now this has come down slightly from the Q1, and they think this is largely on the back of the stamp duty holiday ending. So not so much about people not wanting to invest, it's the fact they've already done it, and capitalised on the stamp duty holiday. 51% of landlords are expecting, those who are expecting to acquire property in the coming 12 months will be doing so through a limited company, and 30% of buy-to-let borrowers intend to remortgage within the next 12 months. Now in terms of how landlords are feeling at the moment, landlord confidence remains a significant 22% higher than it was at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in Q1 2020. And the one that I particularly like here is that landlord optimism in the near-term prospects for capital gains of property growth is at a 5-year high of 44%, whilst rental yield confidence is up year on year to 49%. So look, in terms of how landlords are feeling, this makes very positive reading to me, and I think actually, why would you not be feeling positive at the moment? The demand for rental properties is increasing, yields are going up, house prices have done very well for those people who own them already. And actually, the cost of borrowing, as we've already discussed, is incredibly low. So in terms of being a landlord, I think there's lots of real positives for you guys at the moment. And that is everything for me this week. As always, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back again this time next week. If you do have any questions about your buy-to-let mortgages and also your homeowner mortgages, please don't forget to have a think about that. We'd love to hear from you. 0345 345 6788. We've got lots of information on the website, including information about homeowner mortgages actually. So do go and have a nosy there, mortgagesforbusiness.co.uk. Do look after yourselves. I think we are seeing the sun put in a bit of an appearance at the moment, which is a bit of a treat really. It does feel like we're fully immersed into autumn already, so it's great to see a bit of last minute August sunshine making an appearance for us. I will catch you next week. Look after yourselves.